In case you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, the college football playoff is going to expand. We're moving from 4 teams to 12 teams, and while it hasn't officially gotten approved yet, at least as of recording this video, who knows, it might be approved by now, and I just haven't heard. But it's going to happen. We're going to be moving to a 12-team college football playoff, and I would be shocked if we didn't. Sounds like the earliest they're going to get off the ground is in 2023. That's when the college football equivalent of a CBA or a collective bargaining agreement expires. What that is it basically helps play the games. That's all. It helps us, the fans, see the games. Simplest way I can describe it. This is the simplest way you'll ever hear anything described in college football ever. I don't have any fancy graphics for this video, but I do have whiteboards. Here's a look at the 12-team format. If I could get it in frame. Take a good long look. See that up there? Yep, that's correct. No reseating. What does this mean for college football? Well, I'm about to tell you some facts and then give you my opinions. What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, the channel's been growing a lot lately. Ooh, thank you guys. Continue to hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Ring the bell, because pretty soon I'm going to start uploading every day for you guys, so you want to be sure you stick around on the channel. Be sure to leave a comment down below as well. You can tell me your thoughts on tell me your thoughts on the 12 playoff system, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you just want to wait and see. Talk about what I think again in a little bit. Just keep it PG. Don't fight anyone. Be nice to each other. Let's get on with the video. I have some talking points here. I'm going to talk about how it works, some talking points, and then my thoughts. So without further ado, how does this whole thing work? The six highest ranked conference champions will get an automatic bid. That means a group of 5 gets an automatic bid, at least one. I'll talk about that more in a little bit, what I think about that. There's going to be no limit to the number of teams that is allowed from a conference. So theoretically, the 6 highest ranked conference champions and then the 6 bids that are at large can all go to one conference. Will that ever happen? No. Not even a maybe. It's just a no. But there's no limit to the number of teams a conference can have. And that's mainly pointing at the SEC and, the thing with ESPN, the SEC. They're like this. So what can you do? I like that rule, because if there's like 4 teams in the SEC or 4 teams in the Big Ten, 4 teams anywhere else that have a shot at winning the national championship or that are legit top 10 teams, you can't just leave them out and put a limit. Like, that's dumb. So I'm glad they didn't put a limit on it. I do like that. There's going to be no reseeding, as you see by what I pointed to on the other whiteboard, on the tournament whiteboard. This thing my aunt got me. I love it. I use it a lot. I'll be using it for the playoff here in a couple of years too. There is no reseeding, which I like, and it's a thing I like about March Madness, which I also use that board for, in case you're wondering. I like it. It's going to create a little bit of chaos, as much as a 12-team can. This is going to be fun. So that means if the 12 seed beats the 5, hey, congratulations, you're off to go play the 4 seed. You're not going to have to go up and play the big bad number 1 team in the nation, which is fantastic. I like it. I think it gives some of the lesser teams a little bit of a better shot. But hey, again, talk about my overarching thoughts here in a little bit. That's pretty much how it works. Scheduling-wise, I don't know a whole lot, and I don't think anyone else knows a whole lot either. It sounds like what's happening right now, because nothing is set in stone yet, of course, not going to kick off for another 2 years. It sounds like the wild card games, as I'm going to call them, or the games to go play the top 4 teams, are going to be on campus, so on the higher ranked team's turf, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I would prefer a neutral site, but seeing it as a playoff game, but hey, that's how it works. And then I would assume that the New Year's 6 would be the quarterfinal and semifinal games, and then they would just rotate every year like they do now. So that's just what I would think. I don't know if that's actually how it's going to work. That's just how I think it would be done. That's pretty much it on how it works. Let's get into my talking points. And if you can read my horrid handwriting, first of all, good for you. My handwriting is horrible. But if you couldn't, here are some talking points. The group of 5 and independent teams, more specifically Notre Dame, but to the overarching independent. First of all, the group of 5. They finally have recognition in the playoff, and they're not going to be they might still be like outcasts, not good enough, because I think as soon as a group of 5 team gets in this 12-team thing, they're going to all right, well, who's Cincinnati playing? Auburn? I'll pick Auburn. It's going to happen. But speaking of Cincinnati, they've been on the rise, and they've been looking really good, and they're a top 10 team coming into this year. You can't deny that. Cincinnati has been growing, and I think given a couple years of this thing, there are going to be other group of 5 teams that are going to come out and are going to emerge. I think this is really good for the group of 5. They get some representation. Right off the bat, I don't think they'll have much of a shot to win the national title as they do right now, but at least they're there. So I think given a couple years, there are going to be group of 5 teams that are going to emerge, and one could prove to be a national title contender. Who knows? It could happen. Finally, right? The group of 5 is representation. The Independents and Notre Dame. The way it sounds right now, again, all of this is up in the air and subject to change, but the way it sounds right now, the top 4 conference winners are getting those first 4 byes, which means as either funny to non-Notre Dame fans or as unfunny and ridiculous as it will sound to Notre Dame fans, no independent is going to be ranked higher than 5th. This is basically college football's way of saying, well, you don't want to play in a conference, you'll have to play an extra game anyway. It really is a big screw you to all of the independents who decide, no, don't like conference. I like jumping around and not playing the extra game because we're scared of it. Joke, obviously. Well, maybe not in the case of Notre Dame. Also a joke, don't cancel me. But for Notre Dame, they can't be ranked higher than 5th. Even if they're looking like the best team in the nation all year, sorry, you're dropped to 5th. That's just the way it's sounding right now. I feel like there will be caveats for if Notre Dame or any other independent, but more than likely Notre Dame, does look like the most dominant team in the country and they're by far the best. They might be like, all right, hey, guys, we got to put them up at number 1. But the way it sounds right now, and recent history will tell us this, Notre Dame is not getting ranked higher than 5th. Take that any way you want. I think it's a little funny. Come on, Notre Dame fans. That's a little funny. You know it's a little funny. You probably think it's more ridiculous than anything, but you know it's a little funny. Everyone else out there thinks it's a little funny. I think it's a little funny. Just a fact coming out for you guys. Notre Dame, any other independent, no higher than 5th. The regular season. I'm going to speak to the haters out there for a second. Hello. Hi, haters. Yes. Sorry if I blind you with the light on my microphone. Hi. How's it going? I'm Tailgate Nate, and I'm here to tell you, stop hating on this thing, man. It hasn't even kicked off the ground yet. Just give it a chance. A lot of the haters out there are saying this is bad for college football. 4 teams is already too many. There are only 2 teams that win a national title every year. So 12 teams, too much. Don't care. College football's a dead sport. Let's relax. Let's calm down. It's not. In fact, I'll talk about it here in a little bit. I think this is just going to make college football go on the rise. This is going to create more interesting games. It's going to create a lot better. It's going to create more intrigue in the sport. I will agree with them in this way and this way only. Games between teams that are ranked in the top, I'll say 7, 8, maybe top 10, might not matter as much. So a game, just taking examples from this year, like Ohio State Clemson. Or, it's not Ohio State Clemson. Well, of course, Ohio State Clemson create the scenario too. Georgia Clemson. A game like Georgia Clemson might not matter as much to the playoff conversation because in the end of it, both are going to get in anyway, more likely than not. So games like that, like those highly ranked games that we look forward to every year, like number 1 versus number 2, number 1 versus number 3, even like number 3 versus number 5, number 4 versus number 7, like any combination of that, those games might not be as important now. Still going to be fantastic games to watch, but they might not be as important to the playoff conversation. And I say might because, again, you never know. 6 versus 7 could be pretty important, though. But speaking of which, hey, a game like 6 versus 7 could be way more important than it's ever been. A game like 15 versus 19 might be the most important it's ever been. A game between 11 and any combination of rankings you want to imagine could be way more important than you think, especially if a team goes out that is ranked and upsets a team in the top 5. Like, to give an example of what Arizona State did a couple years ago, or what, well, Arizona State wasn't ranked then, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if an unranked team, or not unranked, if a ranked team that already has a pretty good record, maybe been a surprise team, we'll go with Minnesota. So with Minnesota beating Penn State, that didn't have any significance because in reality, Minnesota didn't really have a shot to get into the playoff if they didn't win their conference anyway. But now that they win that game, you know the playoff committee is going to be like, oh, guys, they might be a top 12 team. Like, you seeing this over here? Like, this is a quality team. That's going to happen. So we're going to see surprise stories in the playoff. Baylor, Minnesota, 2019, boom, both of them would have been in. You want to go all the way back to 2014? Baylor and TCU fans still fight me when they see my Ohio State stuff out there. Boom, they're both in. This is going to, and expanding on that, it's going to lessen the pain of losing a game. Because if you lose a game, you're probably like, oh no, so season's over now, pack it up, let's go home. No, if you lose a game, first of all, if you're a higher ranked team, your season's not over. But if you're anyone else, it's not going to be a huge deal anymore. As long as you run the table or lose 1, maybe 2 games, you're going to be fine. Even maybe if you lose 3 games, you still could be fine, depending on who your 3 losses are to, how you looked in those games, all the other factors like that. Losses are not going to be as big of a deal as they are now. 4 or more losses, that might be pushing it. I don't think a 4-loss team will get into a 12-team playoff. But that's fantastic. I mean, not worrying about a loss, so if a team gets upset here and there, it's a big deal, of course, because we love upsets, but it's not going to be a huge deal in terms of the playoff, which, personally, I kind of like a little bit. I know a lot of people out there that have been watching college football for a lot longer than me. I've only been doing this for 18 years, so there are some other older people out there that have been watching for 30, 40 years. A lot of people out there might say, well, this is, running the table is hard, and if you don't run the table, then you shouldn't be worthy enough. And I get the argument. I think it's good to give good teams their chance. I think it's good to give good or great teams their shot, especially if they have a disappointing season and their roster is a lot more talented than they say. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And I think the biggest thing that people are going to overlook is coaching. This is going to save a lot of coaches' jobs. It just is. Because normally what happens is, especially in the Power 5, if you can win your division, especially a lot of like the lower level Power 5 schools, that might be good enough. So if you don't win your division, like, sorry, you're gone. Winning the conference at a higher level program like Oklahoma or Texas or Ohio State or Michigan, that means you're gone too if you can't win your conference. Even at a program like Alabama, Clemson, you can maybe throw Oklahoma, Ohio State in there as well. If you don't make or are close to the college football playoff every year, you're gone. Which is the sad reality of coaching. But now, if you don't win your division, you still have a shot to get into the playoff. So, again, I hate divisions and I want them rid of, but it doesn't sound like they're going anywhere anytime soon. At least what it sounds like right now. This is fantastic. This is going to save a lot of coaches' jobs, I think, especially in the group of 5. Especially in the group of 5. Yes, in the Power 5 as well. But the group of 5, a lot of coaching jobs are going to be saved, and I think that's fantastic. Because a lot of coaches out there that are a lot better than the team that they're coaching, they get fired because, hey, sorry, man, you can't win the conference. You can't win the division. Sorry, you're just, I mean, sad reality, truth, but I think it's going to save a lot of jobs. And I actually didn't show you the entire whiteboard. I was hiding something from you. My thoughts? Did I put enough exclamation points? I love it. If you guys have been on this channel at all in the past, year that I've been doing this? God, I can't believe it's already been a year I'm on YouTube. If you've been sticking around this channel for the past year, you are one of my first subscribers. You know that I have been a huge provocative for expansion. I think if expansion was needed, even earlier this offseason, sometime back in the spring around mid-April, I did a video called How to Fix the College Football Playoff. And if you want to go watch that, go watch that. Won't matter much now because, hey, the College Football Playoff's getting fixed. And that I talked about going to an 8-team. I don't mind 12-team. It's just a little bit of a weird number, in my opinion. But when you look at the FCS, they have a 24-team playoff, and they have 127 teams. And off the top of my head, I think that's somewhere around 18%. So 18% of teams in the FCS get in. With a 12-team playoff, with 130 teams, you're looking at right around 10%. Just under 10% of teams are getting in, which is still fine because that's probably about the number that are capable of winning the national title. I think this expansion is fantastic. It was inevitable in the end. It was going to expand after the 12-year anyway, more likely than not. But now that they're doing it now, I am so much more excited to watch college football in the future. This is going to create more intrigue, more money, as much as I don't care because I don't get any cut from money, but going to create more money, more fans, better games. This is all but going to improve college football. And again, to the haters, I'm wearing my haters gonna hate shirt. You know why now. But to all the haters out there, just give this thing a chance, man. I said it already. Give it a chance. This thing isn't even off the ground yet. Nothing is set in, just let it happen. Give it a chance. College football is not going anywhere. This, in my opinion, is going to greatly improve the sport. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to see it leave? Who knows? It's going to happen. Just tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. Sorry, this is a short, rambly video, and it was a little bit longer than I wanted. However, I think it was an important video to make because it's big news. This is the biggest change we've seen in the college football since going to a 4-team playoff. Hey, I'm going to continue with preview prediction videos. I am leaving for Key West as of recording this in a couple days. So I talk about it in my preview predictions. Stuff is pre-recorded, so if I miss stuff, I'm sorry. Wanted to make this video now. Again, remember, play hard, tailgate harder. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.